JD Power Travel and Hospitality Podcast. I'm Sarah Baggett with the Marketing Department, joined as always with our experts, Michael Taylor, Andrea Stokes, and Azari Jones. Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
Well, hello.
Hello.
I thought we would start out our first episode of 2025 by looking back a little bit at the very end of 2024. The holidays are always a busy travel time, but I think this year they were even busier than ever. Michael, tell us a little bit about air travel and what we saw the last month of the year.
Well, we did not actually set a single day record, which was something that was could have been in the mix. The July 4th holiday was still the king of the hill as far as total number of people traveling, on a single weekend, holiday weekend. But it was fairly typical of the last 2 years or so that we still had a big spike in travel and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and the whole year just trended ahead of the previous year. So 2024 was another record for airline travel and TSA throughput. That's basically how people measure it, how many people go through a TSA checkpoint at every airport in the United States. So we did set records for the entire year. And I don't think we came very close to tying. I haven't seen the final number for the Christmas holiday count, but it looks like it came very, very close to the all-time high.
Wow, that's very impressive. And did we have any major weather delays or any sort of airport meltdowns? I know we've had those in the past. Anything of note at the end of 2024?
Yeah, there were some, again, software snafus to a couple airlines who I shall remain nameless because it's been happening to everybody periodically. Not as bad as the big CrowdStrike outage or some of the other software Microsoft stuff that happened to Southwest Airlines. I'll name them. United Airlines did have a little bit of a problem for about half a day or so, and there was just the typical snowstorms that we see. The local press really likes to play these things up. And that's something we actually track in the JD Power Airline study is the impact on negative news on people's satisfaction with the airline. And there really is a high correlation with it. People do tend to believe that the worst is going to happen when they travel, especially if they read something negative about an airline in the previous 90 days before they take a trip. But it was just pretty typical. I think everybody by now knows that if you do show up on, the day before Thanksgiving or, 2 days before Christmas, that the airport is going to be crowded. And they were. Every single one of them were crowded. And that's just, it hasn't abated at all, at least on the airline side. I think that Andrea has some different information on the hotel side.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mike. We have seen incredible air travel and demand for that, but I believe we saw some demand sort of level off in the hospitality sector. Andrea, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think the forecast for hotel demand for 2024 is, I think, fairly flat, maybe an uptick of 0.3% percentage points. So very, very small, which I would say pretty much that's kind of a demand leveling off versus 2023. And actually hotel occupancy didn't change either versus 2023, right? So I think now, the boom that we saw right after the pandemic is definitely leveling off. I think there are predictions for 2025 that demand for hotel room nights will grow again, maybe 1 percentage point. So that's still, quite a bit higher than I think where 2024 ended up. So, I know certainly there isn't really any negative news about the 2025 forecast, but I do think it's interesting that even though we saw record air travel last year, hotel demand was pretty much flat year over year. And not sure what that says. I'm sure travelers were probably, yes, still staying in hotels, but even though they might be flying somewhere or traveling by air, they could have been using alternative lodging, or perhaps just staying with friends and family in order to, perhaps save money. There wasn't really a change or a decline in room rates last year in 2024. So, prices are still at that elevated level, but um, but that means that hotel owners and operators are doing well, of course. So, they're able to still get those higher room rates. In terms of overall guest satisfaction, we are publishing our second wave of the 2025 hotel guest satisfaction study tomorrow. So to our subscribers, they will receive the wave 2 results. And that means we will have pretty much 6 months of guest feedback in our data set that we are reporting out to our subscribers. But so far, guest satisfaction pretty flat over that 6 month period. So no, big shifts there in terms of, what guests are experiencing on the ground when they stay at hotels.
Well, it's good to hear that satisfaction's not going down, right? That's always the good news.
That's always the good news. Exactly, Sarah. I was just going to say, we want satisfaction to be holding steady and, of course, increasing. And JD Power, we're all about helping our subscribers improve the guest experience and, provide that benchmarking to allow hotel owners and operators to do that. So, so it's, things aren't going down, but we look forward to kind of publishing those results tomorrow. And then, of course, in July is when we have the full picture of the 2025 guest satisfaction study for North America. And we're looking forward to that.
That's right. Lots to look forward to for sure. Azari, speaking of study publishes, I believe we have a wave published for the rental car satisfaction study coming up. Can you give us a preview of what we can kind of expect with that later in the month?
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Sarah. So yes, we have the first wave coming out this month on January 22nd, and we can pretty much look forward to seeing that the brands that do the best are the ones that have the best vehicles and the ones with great staff interaction. And what that's letting us know is that no matter how much we're going to kiosk and we're going towards, how to skip the line, that customer satisfaction and guest interaction is just a really, really big part of the experience, as well as, of course, vehicle quality. So people want to make sure, hey, if I'm renting a vehicle to get around town or to go visit family, I want to make sure that I'm in a safe, reliable vehicle, something that I can trust and something that works and gets me up and down the road. So those are a couple of things that we're seeing, and we're also noticing too, and this is something that may not be in the study, but the rental car companies, EVs are coming. They're really, really, really doing a great job of just pushing people to get EVs, the language and also the education that's happening. I know range anxiety is a big thing when it comes to EVs. Most people don't get them because they're like, oh, if I'm taking a road trip, I have to charge. But I've been seeing a lot of great commercials where, car companies are like, skip the range anxiety and, save your anxiety for wondering, what you're going to eat for dinner or something like that, things like that. So they're playing on it. They know it's a thing. So we can expect some of that too this year as we look into just trends and things that are happening that we're going to be looking forward to in the rental car industry. So that's, some exciting news and exciting pivots that are happening in the industry.
They certainly are. It's also a great opportunity to educate customers on all the new technology in their cars, correct? They don't have to be afraid of some of the new bells and whistles. This is an opportunity for rental car companies to help them understand, maybe.
Yeah. So just in case, you may skip the line and go straight to your vehicle, but hey, you may get inside your, vehicle and say, you know what, I don't know how to connect my iPhone or connect my a cell phone in general. And so, that's when staff interaction comes in. Hey, can you show me how to work this vehicle? Can you show me how to open the trunk? Small things that, once you're not used to driving a brand new vehicle that you just picked up for the day. So you kind of get introduced to the bells and whistles. And that's why staff interaction is so important because people want to know, hey, I know what I'm getting into.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Azari. And thank you as well to Andrea and Michael. This has been a great episode. I'm excited for all of the study publications coming up later this month and, of course, throughout the year. Thank you for joining us for today's episode. This is the J.D. Power Travel and Hospitality Podcast. We'll see you again next month.